Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, we've been working on a renovation on our 1961 Aljo, which serves as the photo booth camper for our business, Lamp House Photo. So in our last videos, we built our walls and we built the floor, and so now we need to build the cabinets that are going to be installed before we put the walls on the trailer frame. Now those cabinets are going to hold up the walls and provide support for them until the wrap is on and all the ceiling joists and all of that. But those cabinets also additionally provide a certain amount of sway bracing for when your camper is rolling down the road or when there's a cross breeze. And so, anytime you're doing a modification to a camper like this where you're not going to be using it for its intended purposes and you're going to be removing some of those original cabinets, you are reducing a lot of the sway bracing by taking those cabinets out. In your design for whatever goes back in there, you need to come up with some things that compensate for that. Now, if you plan to just have a big open box with nothing in it, then that compensation has to be in the wall framing somehow. It's going to be difficult to come up with any sort of reasonable bracing. Now, since this is a photo booth, I still have cabinets that run down the sides. I have a bench that runs across the front, and they're going to be designed somewhat like this. So fortunately, I realized that the bench from our previous camper build will work just fine, so it's going back in, so I don't need to rebuild that. So that's nice and heavy duty, and it's designed to be heavy duty, partly because it ties both walls together, but also partly because it's got a support at times up to 10 adults sitting on it, so you really don't want this to break. These two cabinets in the back provide a little bit of storage and some shelving. The one on the street side is really not all that useful, but I think it makes sense to have two matched cabinets, and you can never have too much countertop. Now, each one of these has 3 pieces of 1/2-inch plywood in them, and that's what's going to take up a lot of the slack from removing the floor-to-ceiling cabinet that would have been over here on the curb side. Now, there's not really anything at the top because you kind of need some of this open space for the light and everything to work effectively in. So the bottom cabinets have to compensate for the missing top cabinets. Okay, so with that all being said, I've got my plans, I've got my wood. I just need to start putting it together. It's really hot outside today, so that's why we're in the basement. So we'll be working on the floor. So putting this together is likely to look very awkward because it just kind of is. This is a time when if you have an extra pair of hands, it might help. I usually do it upside down. I just split my shorts. Well, hope that shows up on camera. A bit of extra air conditioning in there. Okay, so that was relatively easy to do, but we still have to put a piece of 1/4-inch plywood on the face here. And you could piece it together from smaller pieces, but I always think it's better to put one large piece across the whole thing and make sure that everything stays nice and square, and then just use the trim router with the flush trim bit to flush everything up to the frame. Well, there they are. So yeah, I still need to sand them and trim them and paint them, but that's all pretty straightforward, so I don't think I'm going to record that. But yeah, these are almost ready to go on the camper and then put those walls on, I guess. So this is the original bench from when this was a photo booth camper, and it's got some problems with it, but it's more or less okay. So I'm not going to take the time to just completely rebuild it. I'm just going to get it screwed down into place, and then we'll bring our cabinets over and put them in. So in order to attach these to the floor, I've actually drilled some pocket holes around the inside of them in the hopes that that'll make it a little easier. I don't know if it will. It's just a matter of getting them kind of positioned where you think they ought to be. Make sure they're nice and flush with the outside edge, because when you set your wall up there, that needs to be nice and square and vertical so you can attach it to them. I don't know, I can hem and haw over this, or I can just do it. And I think it's at the point where it's just do it. Sort of the challenging ones, I think. Oh no! Don't drop it, dummy. Okay. Also some over there, but they're going to be even harder to get. Use a little extension there. That's sturdy. Ouch! Ah! Whew! Sweating, folks. Alright, there you go. Cabinet's in. Woo! So if you intend to use welting or GIMP to cover up your seams, now would be the time to do it, because once you have your walls and your ceiling on, you will not be doing that. It's pretty easy to apply. You just kind of hold it up to the edge, staple it in from the back, and there you have it. It's not very thick, so it's not going to really change. You don't really need to compensate for it, is what I'm trying to say. It really doesn't deserve to have much said about it, because it's pretty easy.
A little bit bigger, and then I can like put this on there, and get here, and when you check, there's gonna be a door here. Paint a little arrow there, paint a little arrow there, hammer on that, right there, hammer on that, to make sure it's tight in there.
So since I changed the sort of position and size of my wheel arches just a little bit, I have to sort of compensate for some of the potentially missing metal on the wheel wells. So I'm putting this bit of flashing on the inside of the wall, and I'll put a piece of butyl tape over that so that it seals up with the wheel well and I don't have to worry about any kind of water getting in there. Done it before, haven't had any trouble with it, so just kind of trace the shape, go along and trace inside of that about 1.5 inches or whatever thickness of your wall, and make some little cuts and then fold those under, and everything should be hunky-dory. Okay, so this is real moment of truth stuff. We're going to put this wall on. It's definitely helpful if you have more than one person to help with this, but I'm doing this by myself right now. So I'm going to get it up there. I'm going to try to line it up with the front, put a clamp on it somewhere, and then I'm going to make sure the back lines up. We're just going to make sure it's real precise where it is, and then I'm going to go along the skirt board and I'm going to screw it in, and then I go back and I hammer in some nails as well, and then I'll probably go ahead and stick some carriage bolts in there, because why not? You can never be too secure, right? Wish I felt a little more secure. Man, I almost nailed that perfectly. Okay, here's take two. Let's see what happens. Woo! Woo, doggies. Whoa, I got pretty close. Can't let go of it. Well, there you go. Floor's done, cabinets are in, 2 walls are up. You know, it goes from nothing to almost a camper just like that. I'm going to put a tarp over this because it's supposed to rain a whole bunch tonight, maybe tomorrow. So this might be all I do for the week. But if this is all I do for the week, I feel pretty good about that. So I don't know. We'll see what the next week holds. I hope you found this interesting. Thanks for watching. Please make sure and like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.